XRP investors are paying extremely close attention right now after analysts began reporting that a major technical indicator known as the Golden Cross may have officially formed on the charts. Across the crypto market, this signal is often viewed as one of the strongest bullish indicators in technical analysis, and many traders believe it could mark the beginning of a powerful new trend for XRP. The reason this setup is getting so much attention is because some market watchers are comparing the current structure to previous breakout periods that led to massive price movements in the past. Social media is filled with discussions about whether XRP could be preparing for its biggest move in years, and excitement across the community is building rapidly. For people unfamiliar with the term, a golden cross happens when a shorter-term moving average rises above a longer-term moving average on the price chart. Many traders view this as a signal that momentum may be shifting from bearish conditions into a stronger bullish phase. Historically, this pattern has often been associated with major trend reversals across different financial markets. Now, it's important to understand that no technical indicator guarantees future performance. Markets are influenced by multiple factors, including macroeconomics, regulation, investor sentiment, liquidity, and global events. However, technical signals like the Golden Cross can still influence market psychology because so many traders and institutions watch them closely. In XRP's case, the timing of the signal is especially interesting because it comes during a period of growing optimism surrounding crypto regulation and institutional blockchain adoption. Over the last several months, conversations around digital asset legislation in the United States have intensified, particularly with discussions surrounding market structure reform and stablecoin regulation. Many XRP supporters believe regulatory clarity could unlock a completely new phase of institutional participation in the crypto market. Ripple itself has continued expanding globally, building partnerships focused on cross-border settlement infrastructure and blockchain-based financial systems. Because of that, some investors are viewing the current technical setup as more than just a chart pattern. They see it as a potential reflection of improving fundamentals and long-term confidence returning to the XRP ecosystem. Another reason traders are excited is because historical Golden Cross events across crypto markets have sometimes preceded explosive rallies. Analysts frequently point to past cycles where bullish momentum accelerated rapidly after similar technical confirmations appeared on the charts. Of course, critics argue that markets are never guaranteed to repeat previous patterns. They warn that relying too heavily on technical indicators without considering broader market conditions can lead to unrealistic expectations. Crypto remains highly volatile, and sudden corrections are always possible even during bullish phases. Still, momentum in the XRP community is clearly growing. Trading activity has increased, online engagement has surged, and many investors are closely monitoring resistance levels to see whether XRP can maintain bullish continuation. Some analysts believe the current setup is especially significant because XRP has spent a long period consolidating after years of regulatory uncertainty. The SEC lawsuit and broader market volatility created major pressure on investor sentiment over the last several years. Now, with some legal clarity emerging and institutional conversations returning, confidence appears to be rebuilding. The phrase "biggest move in 6 years" is now circulating heavily online because supporters believe XRP may finally be entering a new cycle after a prolonged period of stagnation compared to other major cryptocurrencies. While some assets experienced explosive rallies during previous market cycles, XRP's growth remained heavily impacted by regulatory concerns. That is why many long-term holders feel the current environment is fundamentally different. They believe the combination of improving legal conditions, increasing institutional interest, and bullish technical indicators could create a unique setup for future price action. At the same time, experienced traders continue emphasizing the importance of risk management. Even the strongest-looking chart patterns can fail if broader market conditions shift unexpectedly. Bitcoin dominance, macroeconomic events, interest rates, and regulatory developments can all impact crypto momentum. Still, one thing is clear. The XRP community is energized right now. Whether this Golden Cross becomes the beginning of a historic breakout or simply another chapter in crypto volatility, investors around the world are watching XRP more closely than they have in years. As market attention intensifies, Analysts will continue tracking volume, momentum, and institutional developments to determine whether XRP truly has the strength to sustain a larger breakout phase. Because in crypto markets, sentiment can change quickly, but when technical momentum and narrative momentum align at the same time, the results can sometimes be dramatic. The excitement surrounding XRP's recent Golden Cross confirmation is not only about technical analysis. It is also deeply connected to broader market psychology and long-term investor expectations. In financial markets, momentum indicators often become self-reinforcing because large numbers of traders monitor the same signals at the same time. When a golden cross appears, many investors interpret it as evidence that bullish momentum is strengthening. This can increase buying pressure, improve sentiment, and attract attention from traders who previously stayed on the sidelines. In some cases, the psychological impact of the signal becomes almost as important as the technical setup itself. For XRP, this matters because the asset has spent years moving through periods of uncertainty and frustration. Regulatory battles, market corrections, and competition from other cryptocurrencies all contributed to slower momentum compared to certain parts of the broader crypto market. However, supporters argue that XRP's core use case has remained consistent throughout this period. Ripple has continued focusing on institutional payment infrastructure, cross-border liquidity solutions, and partnerships related to financial settlement systems. This long-term positioning is one of the reasons many investors still view XRP differently from purely speculative tokens. Now, with growing conversations around crypto legislation and blockchain adoption globally, many XRP holders believe the market may finally be starting to recognize the utility side of the ecosystem again. They argue that institutional relevance matters more over time than short-term hype cycles. At the same time, technical traders are analyzing whether XRP can hold key support zones after the Golden Cross formation. Sustaining momentum is often more important than the signal itself. If buying pressure weakens quickly, bullish enthusiasm can fade just as fast. Another factor contributing to optimism is the broader state of the crypto market. Bitcoin's strength, ETF discussions, institutional investment, and global interest in tokenization are all helping create a more favorable environment for digital assets overall. XRP supporters believe this macro backdrop could support larger movements if momentum continues building. Still, experienced market participants remain cautious. Crypto volatility is extreme, and rapid rallies are often followed by sharp pullbacks. Some analysts warn that emotional trading driven by social media hype can create unrealistic expectations and increase risk for inexperienced investors. Despite these warnings, excitement across the XRP community remains extremely high. Online discussions are filled with comparisons to previous market cycles, with many supporters arguing that XRP may finally be entering a stronger long-term trend after years of consolidation. Some analysts are even describing the current environment as one of the most important technical moments for XRP in recent memory. They believe that if momentum continues strengthening alongside improving regulatory clarity, institutional attention could increase significantly. At the center of all this excitement is one key idea. Markets often move hardest when both narrative momentum and technical momentum align together. Right now, many XRP investors believe that exact combination may finally be forming. Whether the current setup leads to a historic breakout or not, there is no question that XRP has returned to the center of crypto market attention. Traders, analysts, and long-term holders are now watching every major chart level closely, searching for signs that the next big move may already be beginning.